Hi, first graders. Today is Monday, our mini lesson in writing, and we are going to be revising our stories. But I just kind of want to go back and talk about a little bit about what you've done so far, because in the past 4 weeks, you have been fiction writers. You have made up your characters. You've given them a name and described them. You imagine the settings and describe them. You imagine the adventures, the events that your characters had. You hooked your readers. You brought your characters to life with the actions and dialogue, and you used mentor text. You imagined the problems the character had and how those problems were going to be solved. And then you also imagined a really good ending. Okay, you did that all in the course of several weeks. Now what we're going to do this week is we're going to spend some time revising and editing. So I kind of wanted to show you this book again. Okay, what do authors do? Okay, and also what good writers do, which is what you are. I'll show you this page. Okay, they write and write and write, and they cross things out. They throw parts away. Sometimes they even start again. Okay, so revising, what we're going to be doing this week when you're meeting with your partner is revise means make your writing better. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to reread your writing and you're going to read it to a partner. And then you're going to think about, what could I add to my writing to make it better? So maybe you're going to add more pictures. Maybe you haven't done that yet. So maybe you want to add pictures. Or maybe you want to add color to your pictures. Or maybe you haven't added any of your characters talking to another character. So maybe you want to add in dialogue. Or maybe you want to remove something. And that means that maybe there's a word in there that doesn't make sense. Or maybe there's a sentence in there that doesn't make sense. So you want to take it out. Okay, so maybe you want to move some things around. And what that means is that you read it and then your partner read it. Sentence, you said, this sentence I have first, and then I have after that, and then I have next, and then I have finally, but I didn't really finish my writing, so I need to move some sentences around so that the story makes sense. Okay, and then substitute means that you might change some words. Maybe you have in your story the character always saying the word said. He said, they said. Change it to the characters yelled. The characters shouted. Okay, so substitute means that you take a word out and you trade it for another word. And that word might be taking out a boring word and putting in an interesting word, or maybe even putting words that are small words and making them bigger in font. Okay, so revise means to make your writing better. Okay, so you can see from these pages here that that's kind of what these authors are doing. And sometimes, okay, the author, okay, will go to their family member or their partner in their classroom, and they will read their stories to their families, and their families will make suggestions. And sometimes they'll read it to their author friends, which is going to be your classmates. And they might be in a group, and the friends will make a suggestion. And so that suggestion will help the person who's writing to make that writing better. And then sometimes authors get stuck, okay? And they take a break. And that's also what you might need to do, is that you might be stuck on what to add, what to remove, what to move around, what to substitute. And your family has given you suggestions, and your friends have given you suggestions, but you're kind of stuck. So it's a good time to kind of pause, take a break, maybe go to another piece of writing, work on that, then come back and look at your writing again and maybe you'll get unstuck and you'll start making the changes to your writing to make it the best piece of writing. Okay, and then you'll start writing again and adding in those pictures and adding in those details to make it the best piece for you. And you could go to your writing and maybe take some of their suggestions and make some changes, because that's what good writers do. Okay, so on that note, I also want to talk a little bit about our sentence structure. We have been focusing on nouns and verbs and simple sentences and compound sentences, and really focusing on making sure that our sentences make sense. So I wanted to just stress the fact that when you're reading, that your nouns and your verbs, they must work together. So if the noun or the subject is singular, meaning one, you add S to the verb. For example, my sentence for my story, my character is Kayla. So Kayla eats lunch, okay? She's the noun, the singular noun. I could also say she eats lunch. I could say the dog eats lunch, okay? Singular noun or subject. If it's singular, you add S to the verb. If the noun or the subject is plural, that means more than one noun, more than one person, more than one thing, okay, you don't add S to the verb. So here's my sentence. Kayla and her mom eat lunch, okay? Then I might say they eat lunch. If the subject is an I or a you, you do not add S. So for instance, I walk to school. You could mean one person, you, I'm talking to you over there, or you could mean many people, like right now I'm talking to all the first graders. So you walk to school, okay? So our nouns and our verbs must work together. Our nouns and verbs also need to work together when we're showing action in our sentences. So that means when we're talking about present tense, happening now. Kayla walks to school. Kayla is walking to school, okay? The past tense, that means it already happened. It already took place. Kayla walked to school. Kayla ate her lunch, okay? And then also future tense. That means the action that's going to happen in the future, and you add the word will. Kayla will walk to school. Kayla will eat her lunch. Okay, at the bottom of this video, you will find some of our grammar folders with our anchor charts about present tense, past tense, and future tense verbs. Okay, the fact that you add ing to present tense or S, that you add ed to most verbs that are in the past. Okay, sometimes you have to change the spelling of the word. Those are called irregular verbs, like eat becomes I ate. I will eat for the future. So you'll find some anchor charts and some activities that you can do to practice those skills with subject or noun and verb agreeing, because they need to work together in order to be good sentences that make sense in your writing. Okay, first graders, so today you will work on revising your story and making it the best possible story